Well, hello, everybody. Stephen Jones here, and I'm glad that you all made it here today because we got to have a discussion on some things here with the Dallas Cowboys. And unfortunately, there's this perspective of us having a Super Bowl drought, and we got to say that, we understand the frustration here with the fans, but I want you to understand that you need to trust the process because we've been working on this thing for a long time. And see, a lot of you don't understand because, see, when we see somebody like the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, they just won the Super Bowl and got their second since 2017, but we realize that it's a ticking time bomb. And I've been waiting and waiting to get the exact statistics here to show you the problem that the Philadelphia Eagles are headed for. And it is literally Armageddon. I don't think people understand. Now, see, here's the thing. You keep hearing this stuff about Dak Prescott, that he's an $89 million cap hit next year. And that's true. And then you've been listening to guys like Brian Brodus, that Brian Brodus, we just love him to death and things. And if I had enough time, I'd sit down with Brian Brodus and I'd give him an education on the cap because I've been being the capologist for the Dallas Cowboys literally since the mid 90s when the salary cap came around. And you might ask, what did I do to learn about the salary cap? Well, quite frankly, I didn't do a damn thing. I literally, my dad, he owned the company, and so he was worried about me being unemployed, so he bought the Dallas Cowboys and said, "Son, I'm going to give you a job. You can be the capologist. You get to play with the money." And so that's what I've been doing for all these years. And so I got me a crackerjack staff that would come through and help us figure this thing out because it's not easy figuring out the salary cap. And we believe the things that we're doing will pay dividends. And I'm going to tell you, the Eagles, yeah, you like seeing them win Super Bowls, but they have a reckoning day that's coming, and it may not be next year. It may not be the next year, but it's coming soon. And see here, as the Dallas Cowboys, we don't want to ever get into that situation where we owe a whole lot of money. Now I have to say, shout out to Robert Apakian. See, Robert Apakian here, he not only bought one of the bricks that's going to go out here when we have the spring thaw for the red brick house historical walkway. He's going to be here, long after the Eagles have Armageddon. Appreciate him, but he actually sent me the proof here, and let me show you what I'm talking about here. See, granted, Jalen Hurts is only a $22 million cap hit next year. That sounds great. Sounds like they really know what they're doing, but I'm here to tell you, that Howie Roseman, he's a wizard because he literally makes that money disappear. But here's the problem for him. At some point, it's going to reappear. It's going to be like that ship that you always hear about that disappeared in the 50s that all of a sudden just came through the Bermuda Triangle and it reappeared with all the guys on here. It's like one of those television shows like Lost. But take a look here because here's the problem for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, look, when we talk about the Super Bowl drought, yeah, well, we'll get there at some point. But take a look here because what you're looking at right now, it's called voidable years. And what it is this is one of those tools that they always give us a hard time and say that we don't use. Now, you'll see up there at the top, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have $390.4 million in voidable years in their contracts. Well, you might ask, now since we got a little time here, and Brian Brodus, I appreciate you, and we've worked together a lot of times and things, and Mike Fisher, he's talked about how we could flip triggers and get $100 million, and Jeff Heffrey, Heffrey, he's real good, man. He used to be great on 105.3 The Fan, but him and Brian Brodus working together and things, working on these numbers, they don't necessarily understand. But you see, the Philadelphia Eagles have $390 million in void money. And what that is just literally kicking the contracts down the road. We get it. It allows them to go ahead and sign players real cheap right now. Now, you can see, even though people have the perspective that we're not doing these things and we're not using these tools. We're number 8 at $62 million. And if we end up taking that $62 million and we flip those triggers and take Dak Prescott from $89 million down to say 40 million and CD Lamb down to like, I don't know, 15, $20 million, we're going to increase that number and we're going to be working up the line here. Now, here's the thing that's kind of crazy when you look at this, because the San Francisco 49ers, they're sitting there with $204 million, which is almost half of what the Philadelphia Eagles have. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, hell, they just won the Super Bowl. We don't care about what's going to happen down the road. We're able to just talk trash to the Cowboy fans that ain't done dick in 30 years. Well, let me give you a different look here, and maybe you'll understand more of what I'm saying here. Because, see, right now, the Eagle fans, especially that Philly 500, he sending text messages to Mark Holmes and telling Jobu Sports, you guys suck, because they got $18 million right now today in salary cap and have a loaded roster. Well, that sounds really, really good. But let's just look out a couple years from now, because this voidable year stuff, well, that's going to come back to bite him in the ass. Because you start looking at here in 2027, you got, look at that, Jalen Hurts, cap number of $42 million. You got A.J. Brown, 22 and 16. And see, that's part of that voidable year money that's going in there. But let's go down a little further here, because where we really get to it, let's just look at 2029. This is insane, because Jalen Hurts will be a $97 million cap hit. A.J. Brown, he'll be a 29. Jordan Mailata will be a 35. Devontae Smith, a 35. Landon Dickerson, a 35. I mean, you start looking at these numbers, hell, we're talking about 4 years down the road, 4 seasons from now. But wait, if that's not bad enough, you want to see something this is really just magical, and this will actually turn you into a Catboy, a lover here. Would you believe that A.J. Brown in the year 2030 will be a $53 million cap hit? 53 million. And see, if we were to look at the Dallas Cowboys and things like that, we don't have all these things. And so that's why we do the things that we do, because we know that the Eagles have spent a lot of money. They won a Super Bowl. They were in one 2 years ago. But is all that worth having all of this money that you're going to have to pay and be responsible for in the future? At some point, the Eagles are going to be ass. And that's when we'll just go ahead and go right past them, because it's the turtle that wins the race. And I appreciate you guys coming in here and listen to me and everything else, and understand that we understand that you're frustrated being Cowboy fans, that you want to win, but you got to win the right way. And we don't believe what the Eagles are doing is the right way to win. And just trust the process, because we're going to get this thing together. I appreciate you. And how about them Cowboys?